Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about how the Wilds, Bo and Scotty are basically Ferris Bueller and Cameron. So, if you don't know who Ferris Bueller is, then shame on you. One day I am going to talk about that very soon because I love that movie. That was a great movie. And that's a movie that makes you believe one thing, and then it flips the script towards the end on something completely different that makes the Ferris Bueller character just that more lovable and everything. So, after watching The Wild Season 2 and being utterly disgusted by it, and to the point where I would no longer watch this show no more, even if it gets a Season 3, I wanted to go more into a deep dive into the male characters. Because I don't want really no confusion. Because when you hear my rants on season 2, I don't want people to think I hate the male cast. Ever since before season 2 came out, I've been telling people just give the boys a chance. Maybe they'll be okay and everything. And then when I watched it, my fears came true. Is sadly the boys' story arc ruined the show, but not in the way you would think. See, it's not the actor's fault. It's the writer's fault and the showrunner for lazy, stereotypical writing. And that was completely done on purpose. And the sad thing is, because I truly believe the showrunner has a problem with dudes. I've been saying that since season 1, and I love season 1. All right, season 1 is a great show. And then when you hear the character of Gretchen talk, I truly feel like that is the showrunner talking through Gretchen and everything, sharing her views and stuff like that of like wanting to see men fail and male toxic this and that and stuff like that. And it's having an effect on people online because ever since I got through watching the show, I've been reading comments online, and it's always the same thing, mainly from the female viewers, and that is the guys suck. We don't like them. Y'all ruin the show. Some people like the guys, and a lot of people don't. And that's really sad. And then I saw somebody, because like shows have a way of brainwashing you. Somebody defended the Seth character online, a female, and said it's not his fault. It's just his fault because he's a toxic male. I'm like, you only said that because of probably the show, and the show said that. And so, I wanted to clarify in these videos I'm going to start coming out soon of the guy's storyline and how I felt they were badly written and mishandled and stuff. Because all of the guys' storyline were based off of stereotypes, lazy writing, and just being completely rushed and stuff. So I wanted to get into the two male characters I actually kind of like, and I think they're pretty cool. And I wish we could have seen a whole lot more in the episodes, and I wish they could have got a proper like solo episode, and that is that of Bo and that of Scotty. Now, the whole Ferris Bueller comparison thing. Let's put it like this. Scotty, the black dude, he is Ferris Bueller, all right? Like the dude is. Ferris Bueller had this uncanny charm about him that where he can just weasel his way into people's hearts. And he did it with such cavalier and everything that it's just literally uncanny. And Scotty has this swagger to him that like makes people gravitate towards him and everything. It's like this type of charm that you can't deny and everything. And Bo, he is a very shy, very awkward, timid person who is terrified of his parents. He is the Cameron character. Cameron is a person who is always think he's sick, always think he's dying. He's sad, he's depressed, he doesn't want to do anything. He's like a sloth, and he's terrified of his father. because Ferris Bueller is always getting him in like trouble and stuff like that, and his dad comes down on him pretty hard. And so, that is Bo in like, a nutshell, right? Now, just like Ferris Bueller and Cam, Ferris has no car. And even though his family comes from that of money, but he has no car. His mom got him a computer instead. And he's really good with computers and stuff. So he's always bumming a ride off Cameron. He even has Cameron steal his dad's car. Now, Scotty doesn't have a car either. Scotty came from money, but for some bizarre reason, we don't know what happened, but they lost it and now live in an apartment because they used to live in a very swanky, almost mansion-like house. And Scotty has an idea to basically, well, something I hate that happens online. It's where people go online, they buy tons of merchandise, then they wait till people no longer make it, and then they like sell it on eBay for like a lot of stinking money. Those are what I call vultures, and I hate them so much. There's some things that I want. They used to be no more but $12. And now they close to 100, close to 500 on eBay. And I just want to rip somebody's head off. So he's very technological in that way and very business savvy. And he does it all with that of a computer. And so, just like with Ferris, he has Bo steal his dad's car to take him to Tallahassee to buy a bunch of shirts. Oh, my bad. It's so late. I need to hear him go to bed. And so the comparison is there. You can't deny it, right? And that's basically where the comparison ends, sadly. Because, see, in the show, we don't know the extent of both Bo's and Scotty's life with their parents. The show very much rushes that. If this would have been season 1, we would have got a full episode on them and no bopping around between the boys' camp and the girls' camp. Because when the first season they did the girls very proper and everything. And with the guys, it was just rushed. And so the only thing we know is from what we're told from these characters, but we never truly 100% get to see it. We know that Bo is terrified of his parents. He's not allowed to make a mess in the house. Everything has to be spotless clean, to the point where they go so extreme as to not have Scotty touch the light switch to turn the light on. And it's like, he has to make sure there's no fingerprints on it. Now, who's going to see a fingerprint unless he's eating something and there's a smudge on there? I can understand that, but he wasn't eating nothing. So we're left with the impression that Bo's parents are basically Monica Geller from Friends. And if you don't know who that is, then geez, you are young. And so, the look of fear on Bo's face is terrifying, horrifying. But we don't know to what that extent will be until the incident with the rain in the shed, and that messes up the lawnmower and the merchandise that they bought. Because it was a result of both Bo and Scotty, off camera, Bo gets the crap beat out of him. A black eye, bruise on his face, everything from his parents. Something that would have happened to Cameron if we would have saw that online. Not online, but in the movie. And so the thing is like, it was Scotty that got him in trouble, just like it was Ferris that got Cameron in trouble with the car when they basically drove backwards and into like the forest and in that little ditch area. And when it comes to that of Scotty, one problem that I have with his writing is we don't fully know why he is the reason why he is. Like, one thing about him is that we don't know why he needs all this money for it. You know what I'm saying? Because he grifts people online. Now, they made Scotty very off the bat look like a very selfish, greedy person. He hid food from the rest of the survivors, the castaways, and him and Bo. And then when Bo caught him, he manipulated Bo into being all like, hey, look, man, this is just for us. We gotta look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? It's us against them when it should be like the whole group coming together and stuff. And Bo goes along with it because Scotty manipulates him the same way Ferris manipulates that of Cameron. And so Scotty is portrayed as a very selfish, very greedy person. Then we see he is a grifter who likes to grift people online and make lots of money off of like merchandise and stuff. But we don't know why, because the show never truly wanted to explain that in a single episode. But then we start to get a tiny bit of a tidbit. We hear him say he lives in an apartment. Okay, so that we know. And so anybody can live in an apartment. I don't mean nothing. I don't mean you're poor or nothing like that. But then something interesting happened. He takes Bo to a fancy house. And before they even say anything, it has a for sale sign. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, maybe that could be it. Maybe he wants to like save up that money and get that house for himself, and maybe for Bo too, since they're best friends, they can live together as roommates and stuff. I thought he was gonna do something nice and be all like, look, man, this is our house right here. One day in the future, after we're done with college and everything, we're gonna get good jobs, and then we're gonna get this house and we're gonna live together, and you won't have to be with your abusive parents. And for what, who, we don't know the first thing about Scotty's parents. So like, because the show didn't want to explain that like they did in the first season with all the girls and stuff. And this could have been like a Shelby type thing, because Shelby comes from these very, let's just put like evil, strict like parents and stuff who hates LGBT and are super religious. And just watch one of my older reviews when it comes to Shelby. Anyway, so I don't have time to really go into that, and that's very depressing. I assumed it was gonna be like that, but no. He tells Bo this used to be his house, him and his parents. He doesn't even go into detail as to how they lost the house. He doesn't even like at all. We don't know if his parents lost their job. We don't know if it was the recession. We don't know if his parents just has like a gambling problem or just don't like to pay the bills. We don't know, because the writers and the showrunner let us down by not telling us. But they sneak into the house, they let out all their anger and bust the walls and everything. But we see how much this house meant to him when he looked on the door arch and saw like how tall he was getting and being marked on like the door arch and stuff. But we don't know why they lost the stinking house. And we know nothing about their parents. And then the episode ends and with the whole them on a ledge and the jaguar chasing them and food, this and that. Because when they went back into the island, it was back to Scotty being selfish with the food and everything. So it's kind of like the writers really let them down. So it made me think, wow, Scotty isn't a great character. Maybe he's like a little punk or something like that. But then in the next episode, when Kieran was making fun of Scotty, called him ghetto, living in the ghetto, he told him, how like, I don't live in a mansion, which he kind of used to. And then he tells finally why he's saving all this money up, because his family is struggling and he's trying to help out. But that was never explained in the show until the next episode. It would have been so much better if it was that solo episode. But here's the thing. When they had us thinking that he's selfish, in a way, even though he's helping his family out, he's still somewhat selfish, because he brings in Bo to do all this stuff, but he's gonna literally leave Bo hanging, because his main goal is like to get that house back and stuff and get his family back on track with money. he didn't say nothing about helping Bo out, because how's that going to help him out? Like, he's still going to be with his strict like parents and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, this is where once again he differs from that of the Ferris Bueller thing. See, Ferris Bueller Day Off is an amazing movie where we are led to believe that there's this little, like, out of control young guy who just wants to skip school, have fun, and party it up with his friends and stuff, and his girlfriend, always missing school. He is very manipulative. He likes to con people. He's always about breaking the rules, right? So it's like the movie is revolving around that of a bad boy and everything. But this bad boy has a heart of gold. Throughout the entire movie, he's always talking about Cameron and how Cameron's this and Cameron's that and how Cameron needs to have fun, and he's too wound up and everything. And when Cameron is like laying it into him, he is pissed because he's all like, how dare you talk about me? And I'm doing all this like to make you happy. And he literally tells him, we skipped school. We went to a nice fancy like rich people restaurant. I took you to a museum. We got to see some nice art. We went to a parade, and you are not grateful for nothing. And so then when you hear that, it makes you think, okay, he's still manipulating him. It's really what he wants to do, but he's just using Cameron as like an scapegoat. But then we get the final truth, a very sad scene towards the end, where Ferris turns to the camera and lets the audience know why he's really doing this. See, when he skipped school with that of his girlfriend and his best friend. And he tells them that him and Cameron, they only got a few more months left of high school before they graduate. He says with the 2 months they'll be out for the summer, they'll get a job, and occasionally they will see and hang with each other. But then they're both going off to college, to two separate colleges in two different states. And he doesn't know when he'll ever see Cameron again. And chances are he probably never will. As for his girlfriend, she is a junior in high school. And he literally tells us he has no idea how that's going to work out. And because he's such a ladies' man, girls literally throw themselves at him. So when he goes off to college, he knows he's not going to stay faithful. So he's just going to break up with her and, not be tied down and date somebody else. And the whole reason for him skipping school, it wasn't so he could have fun. It was so he can have that one final good day with the two people he loved the most. He wanted closure. He wanted to end their friendship on a high note before the real world takes over and changes all three of them. That is beautiful right there. And that is how Bo and the Scotty storyline should have been, but it wasn't, because they rushed their storyline and they had to go and see what the girls were doing in their storyline and stuff, because the boys were never given a proper season. And it was such a missed opportunity, in my opinion, because you're literally thinking that Scotty is just a selfish jerk. And in some ways, they still wrote him to be. And another thing that makes Scotty a selfish jerk is that for some strange reason, he has a problem with that of certain white people. But it's weird because Bo is white. So it's like, what is his deal with white people? Well, of course, you can use your imagination, because you have to use your imagination because the writers didn't say. But basically, it's the social issues that's going on between the country right now, between white people and basically everybody and everything. And this show does start to bring in some political, like this and that, into the second season, which they never did in the first season. So you have to use your imagination. And so, but it's like, okay, well, what caused Scotty to not so much like white people and stuff? Because he likes Bo and he's white, but did something happen to him? We don't know, because the show will not explain. They just want you to think, oh, okay, He's black. Let's make him stereotypical. Let's make him this like authority and this like white people, because that's what they think black people do. The writers have failed in their mission to make you understand these characters because they wrote them as stereotypes in the second season. They wrote every male character as a huge stereotype. See, the male characters in season 2, they're not even characters. They're not even people. They're literally just stereotypes. You look at them, you hear them talk, and you know exactly what group they fall in, with no real substance behind it. And it's quite a shame. So yes, I will be making videos about each male character and where I felt the writers just went wrong with them, because I probably didn't get to explain it all that well in my rant videos because I was just angry. Like, I love this show, all right? Like, I love this show, but I no longer love it because they really messed up the season 2. And if they get a season 3, which, you know, I hope they do, because it's a nice cast and everything. I don't trust the writers and I don't trust the showrunners, but we all know what's going to happen in season 3. People feared what was going to happen in season 2, and it happened. And now people online are fearing what's going to happen in season 3, and we all know that's going to happen. So I'm just not interested no more. I'm bummed. I'm sad. I'm sad because this was a show I was really looking forward to, and it just got ruined for me with this whole second season because it was lazy story writing. So yeah. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.